You're on.
Good morning, everyone. Let's bow our heads for a word of prayer, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask you to look over this board and give us wisdom and judgment to make the best decisions we can for Union County. We ask you to watch over our first responders and give you thanks. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lance, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Harville, Commissioner Pitts,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Bierstadt, Commissioner Gould.
Having a quorum, I'll call the meeting to order. First item, approval of minutes, regular meeting held on March 8th and 22nd. Everybody had a chance to look at those. Any additions or deletions?
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Gould?
Yes. Public comments? Committee reports?
Yeah, we're moving along pretty good on animal control there, pouring some footings. I mean, it's really come together really fast. I'm kind of impressed about how fast they're moving along despite weather and all. Still in need of some donations, both monetary and kibbles and bits. Lord, they go through the kibbles and bits. But other than that, it's coming together really well out there. Population's up quite a bit. I mean, we've had a lot of surrenders and pickups and such, but other than that, it's moving along pretty smooth out there. That's all I got.
Anything else? Building permits?
We have two. The first one is parcel number 0632050019A. It's at 1635 Miller Road in Dongola for Mark Mowry, a garage, no floodplain, no subdivision, recommended for approval. And the second one is parcel number 080705737D. It's at 600 Beach Grove in Wolf Lake for Aiden McMahon. It's a home, no floodplain, no subdivision, recommended for approval.
Yeah.
Any questions on the building permits?
Make a motion to approval.
Second.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Next item, old business ordinance amending, restating, codifying the hotel operator's occupation tax. I think we've got that ready to go now. We've just got to set up meetings with the municipalities that this entails. As soon as we do that, go through that, we'll be ready to approve it. So we'll continue to table it till that happens. New business, approve paying the bills. Everybody had a chance to look at the bill list? Any questions?
We'll move we pay our bills. I'll second that.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?
Yes.
Next item, redeploy DHS application and budget revised. assuming this is just what it says.
So if you remember last board meeting, Becky came in here from Redeploy and presented her budget. After the board meeting, she got contacted by Stress and Trauma Treatment Center, and they wanted to change the amount of their contract and increase it. So Becky couldn't be here today, but I had her send me the reason. So she said, we changed the budget amount for stress and trauma from 175,000 to 210,000, as they're going to hire a substance use counselor for Redeploy and begin an after-school program for Redeploy youth once school ends. This increase will go towards both of these changes. We will be billed the hourly rate for the youth that need substance use counseling and for the ones that attend the after-school program. So basically, it's two new programs that Stress and Trauma is going to offer for Redeploy kids. So the budget was just increased by that amount of money. So what you have on your agenda is to approve the higher budget. Again, it's all paid for by the state. It doesn't cost the county anything. And then the item underneath in that is the actual contract with Stress and Trauma, increasing them from the 175 to the 210.
Any questions? Make a motion, we approve the application and budget as written revised.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes. On that same note, I'll make a motion that we approve the new contract with the revised amount on the budget.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Next item, resolution appointing commissioners to the Alto Pass Water District. Term has expired for Carlos Gurley. We received recommendation from them to reappoint him. His new term will expire May 7th, 2029. Any questions about that?
We accept that. I'll second that.
Commissioner Pitts,
Yes.
Commissioner Miller,
Yes.
Commissioner Gould.
Yes. Okay. Next item, Safe Haven Baby Box discussion. I think you're up.
Have packets that tell everything about it, if you want to have one.
Yeah.
My name's Jennifer Colotto. I don't think I really know anybody here. Lived in Jonesboro for about 30 years, originally from Grand Tower. Did you all like them?
Thank you.
And I don't know if y'all are aware or not, but the state of Illinois does not have a safe haven baby box at all. The closest one that I have found is Paducah, Kentucky. The idea of the box is mothers who are unable to care for their child can surrender the child in a no-contact drop, meaning that when they open the box, there's an alarm tripped that lets 911 know the box has been accessed. When they place the baby in, it's also weight detected, and when she closes the door, it locks the door to keep the child safe. So no one can come along and take the child until 911 gets there to retrieve the child. And it has to be retrieved from inside the building. And I just thought this would be something beneficial for our community, not only, I mean, even the state of Illinois, like I said, there's not one, especially with abortion clinics moving into the area as aggressively as they have. I feel like we should be able to give other options to mothers.
So I did a little research with the state's attorney, since you had contacted us to be on the agenda. Find his research to this point, unless the state of Illinois has changed the law, but his interpretation was that the reason there's none in Illinois is it has to be in person. It can't be, and I don't know if I'm misunderstanding you as far as it being physically outside, but the way the Illinois statute reads, it has to be
in person. It's not just a matter of using the box, that they have to in person deliver the baby.
That has to be an in-person contact.
Yeah. Are you
So-
aware of that, or?
I was not aware of that. I know the state of Illinois does not have a Safe Haven Act like other states do, meaning that we don't have anything that says we have to supply something like this to our communities. But to my knowledge, I was not aware of anything that said we could not. However, there is information in the packet as well that talks about ways to get a Safe Haven Act for your community, for your state. And I
don't know that, and I'm not saying it can't be done,
right,
but it would, in other words, his interpretation of it at the moment, he's still researching it to see if they've changed anything. But that, in other words, if we did it here, it would have to physically be inside, say, the sheriff's office. It can't be outside. It has to be an in-person exchange.
right. Which a lot of places, like majority of your fire departments, your hospitals, like Carbondale Hospital has a sign up that they're a safe haven surrender, meaning that you can walk into the ER and surrender a child in
Right.
person.
And I'm assuming that's the way this is
Right.
stated.
And I'm willing to see what I need to do to change that law. But what I need before I go farther is to make sure that there's interest in the community. Because I'm assuming that at some point, I'm probably gonna have to do a petition to do signatures and things like that, because I'm gonna have to basically change a law. And I needed a committee or somebody who genuinely showed interest, so that when I get to that point and I come back and say, hey, let's do a baby box, you all don't look at me and say, maybe not. Basically, I don't wanna do all the groundwork and then not be able to do it, is basically what I'm saying.
Well, I don't know that we wouldn't be interested in it. I'm just saying, I mean, we'll have to abide by whatever the statute is. at the moment.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, I think, take it under consideration and so forth, and.
And I'll see what I
research it a
can,
little bit more, and,
absolutely.
you know, we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys.
No, I think it's a good idea, where we can get it pushed through Springfield, certainly.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll see what I can do, and then, I'll let y'all know and maybe come back and see what our next steps would be for it.
So I have a question. So does the organization, if, let's say, everything got passed and you could do it, does the organization pay for the putting in of the box, or is that something that you need funding for?
No, that would be fundraising I would have to do. To get the box placed, it's $16,000 to get the box placed. And then $500 a year for maintenance, meaning, you know, to check the alarms, make sure it's working properly, because you don't want a child placed and the alarm not work. And again, I'm more than happy to fundraise for that. I'm actually pretty good at it. I've done several fundraisers for Grand Tower, that's my hometown, and raised several thousand for them, for the levy, for different things. So I kind of pride myself, I'm good about that. So this to me would be no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know too, and again, I'm speaking out of just what little information I do know about it at this point, but, you know, if it has to be an in-person exchange, I don't know that you would necessarily need physically a box. Because the way he's reading this, you would have to walk into the sheriff's office, hand somebody the baby, and walk out.
Yeah, which in case there's no point for the box.
Right.
To do an in-person, but the point of the box is to have it where a woman could access it outside the building.
Yeah.
Kind of like a drop box, like when you pay your water bill.
Oh,
like that, you know.
I get that. I mean,
But like I said, we'd be
if we
changing
can
the
do
law.
that, yeah.
It kind of, I'd be ashamed. But I'd get a hold of Kentucky's law, look at that, see how that's written, and give you something to go on.
Okay, absolutely. Yes, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Next item, Village of Alto Pass Bike Trail discussion. You're up now.
I also have funding request letter, and if I can hang on to one of these, I miscounted how many people were here. And I have an outline of, actually, maybe I got no, where we are so far in the progress and what we would like to see from you guys. Sorry, I put those out of your reach.
That's not a problem.
All right, so the funding request letter is just a formality. I don't know what you need for, what you would have needed. I assume that you would probably need something in writing, so that's what that's for. But as far as the progress goes, I've been here before. I've been on this for about 3-4 years. We've made quite a bit of progress so far. I'm not going to go through all that, but we've conducted 2 public meetings. We've sent out letters to landowners. We have 5 signed memorandums of understanding. I've made contact with Deb Barnett at Southern Now, something like that, who asked me to apply to go down to Metropolis to the funding review there. So I've got a lot of support. We have a lot of support from the community, from the businesses, from Paul Jacobs, from Danny Boss, who's Mike Boss' brother, to I'm trying to get a meeting with Dale Fowler. But I have a lot of support from community members, businesses, area lawmakers, and of course, the Village of Alta Pass is behind it. I have letters of support from businesses if you need them. Tiffany George and I are in contact quite a bit. The purpose of this grant is to study the feasibility of the project. We do have a trail builder that we just met with this week. His name's Philip Carrier, and he's working for the Shawnee National Forest right now, developing trails there. He did the trail at Touch of Nature. I know there's a push, I hear, in the state to develop trails and to bring people down to the Shawnee. I don't know if you heard about the big deal that's going on in Marion with the convention center and ballpark and all that, but they're expecting, just went to a summit meeting on that, they're expecting, I want to say an influx by the end of 5 years of like 150,000 people coming to our area, and they want to spread that out, spread it down to the other counties, the southernmost counties, draw them down here, and this would be a draw. I've been to talk to the Horner Schifrin Engineering firm, and they're the ones that's doing the Greenway project in Marion. You know, you see the bike trail going from Marion to Carbondale, and then from Carbondale to Murfreesboro. I should back up and say that Danny Boss is on that committee for Jackson County Bike Trail, and he's wanting, if we do the project, he would like to connect to Jackson County. On that side, I've talked to Tunnel Hill people. What we are asking from you is the support of the board. Also, the Cobbin School is a co-applicant on this grant. They have been given, well, they have a cross-country team, first of all, that does not have any place to, they have to travel, take them places to go and practice because there's no place nearby. And they also were donated, they have a bike riding group club, but they go to Touch of Nature to ride because there's no place nearby. So they signed on as a co-applicant. So we're asking, since the grant that we're applying for has 20% matching funds, we're going to ask 150,000. It's what the engineer suggested that we ask for. So we're asking you guys to support us with both co-applying for the grant. Second, $30,000 for that match. And if you look on the letter, you'll see that I did a little research on my Katy Trail and how much that economically impacted the area. And according to that data, the impact that the Katy Trail had a 29.2 million economic impact in 2022, and that comes from the Missouri Bicycle and Pedestrian Federation. Hotel, motel, and B&B visitors, 14% spent on average $700 per party per trip, $297.30 per person per trip. 280 per party per night, and 120.60 per person per night. And that's from an economic impact study by Missouri State Parks. I think it would be beneficial to us. It's just a matter of if we can come up with that match. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them.
So you have
Pardon me?
sent out letters to landowners since you've got 5.
The memorandums of understanding, yes, that have come back so far. Some people are not sure, they want to know more about it, but they haven't actually come to the 2 public meetings that we've held. So we also have the support of Wayne Searles, Rimmels, and Wren to go around, and they're very much in support of it and have agreed to go and talk to some of the landowners that may wonder. A lot of the difficulty with the landowners, and that's what this grant would do, would determine the feasibility. Now, Philip, when I talked to him, even if we couldn't get it on the railroad bed, right now, there's a push evidently in Illinois to connect trailheads. So there's a lot of stretch that runs along the old road bed that we know we can get. It's the opposite direction. We go as far as we could on Foothill. We'd like to get as close to Cobden as possible so that they could use the bike trail for the high school. But we know that the opposite direction towards Jackson County, we can get pretty far on that just with what we know right now. But the purpose of the grant is to study feasibility. If we can't do the route we're planning, develop another route. And some people believe they may own the property along the railroad bed, but it's not, no one really knows, so we need to research that and find out who actually owns that property, and then that may alleviate, we could get more than 5 memorandums. We don't have too many. That's from out of 11 people when they sent their papers back the first time and the second time. We have about 11 people, and there's 22 along that route that we originally looked at that have said that they are either willing or that they are on the fence. So about 50%. But we have not made personal contact with them yet, which is what we plan to do.
So 22 is the total about?
Yes.
As far as the
The stretch, the first stretch we were looking at. The other stretch I know all the people who own the property there, and that's an easy one. We can go to, we've got at least, I'm not real good with measurement, but I would say at least 5 miles that would be uncontested so far.
But you haven't contacted the railroad or anything?
I have tried. Have you ever tried?
Well,
Tried multiple times.
I know, like in Hannah.
Yeah.
The property along the railroad, there's always been
Yeah.
they own it, you gotta lease it.
So I do know that the railroad that originally owned it released that back to landowners, but the landowners had to purchase it from them. Some opted not to, and some did. It's just up in the air. It's kind of iffy on some of the landowners as to whether or not they just thought they owned it, or whether they actually purchased it. Because this letter that I have actually states that they had to purchase it from the railroad. So I have tried to call them, email them multiple times, and have not gotten a response back, which is why we would need someone to research that and find out exactly who owns that property.
You guys got questions?
No, I think personally, I was up there at that bike race that y'all had.
Yeah.
How many bikes was there? There were over 500.
There were over 500.
About 700 and just almost 750. Yeah.
He had to shut it down.
Really?
Yeah, he couldn't take any more than that. He had more than that who wanted to race, and
Yeah.
he had to cap it.
I mean, y'all's done a good job thinking outside the box here.
We're
bringing
trying.
A whole different type of personality, into the county.
Yeah,
How remarkable. I mean,
The amazing thing to me was with that many people in our little village, there was not a speck of,
I know you
Trash
get a slice of
anywhere.
bread in between the cars. so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was very pleasant.
That's all I got to say.
Oh, I do have to say this, and I know that it's, I've tried, I don't know if you're Tiffany, but I've called Tiffany several times. Every time you guys had a meeting, I was subbing and I couldn't say I can't sub. So, this is late notice, but we have to turn that grant in on the 14th. So if I could possibly get an answer by then,
14th of
yeah,
April,
yes,
Like 2 days?
yeah.
really?
Yeah, I know it's short. This was the only time I could get here. 8:30 is hard for someone who subs.
So what happens if we don't meet the 14th?
I will go ahead and, without the money, I probably won't be able to file.
I mean, can you refile, I guess is what I'm asking.
Not for
Or is
another
that the
year.
end of-
Yeah, not
You
for
gotta
another
wait
year.
a year.
Mhm. We have to spend the money up front, and the village just, I know, we don't have that kind of money. We have to spend up front and then we get reimbursed for the money. So it wouldn't be like 30,000 right off the bat. At least in the way I see it, it would be piecemeal as we got things done. It would just be a promise of that. It's like, not like you have to give it up front.
I don't know that we can-
Is the whole grant like that? So even the 150 that you're applying for has to be spent up front and then reimbursed?
So it's an 80-20 match, that's in the
Right.
letter. So only 20% is what we're responsible for. So that's the 30,000.
But the 150, are they just giving it to you, or do you have to spend it and they reimburse?
We have to spend, we spend and they reimburse, then we'll have up to 150,000 total, yeah. So, I know that's short notice and I do apologize.
I don't know, I mean, I don't know that we
Look at the budget.
make a decision like that today. And, budget wise.
And I don't know how it works with being a co-applicant on the grant. That's something I'd have to reach out to our auditors for, because, I mean, if we're a co-applicant, then we, in my mind, have to make sure everything is handled exactly right. So we would have to see the expenses, we would
Oh,
have to
yes,
see the
and that's
bills,
in there.
all of it.
I promise we would be extremely transparent anytime it gets spent, we would send to you. However, we arranged to do that, but it's in the letter. So you've got it in writing.
Again, I mean, I don't think we're prepared to, I mean, we've got a lot more hoops to go through than just say, okay,
Yeah, that's what I-
budget wise, to do something like that. I mean, we can't just,
No, I
we've gotta
understand.
come up with a source and how we're gonna do it. And again, like, run it by our auditors and, I mean, there's no way for us to do that in 2 days.
Is it something we do through data?
Yes, it would be.
Yeah. Or another,
I mean, I like the idea, don't get me wrong, I think it's a great idea, but I just, I want to see how we can
well, there's a lot of hoops.
Yeah, I kind of figured there was.
authorize that in a 2-day notice.
So what happens if you would apply for it without us being a co-applicant? And then,
Co-applicant isn't absolutely necessary to give us more points on the grant, so that's not, it does, to my understanding, that doesn't lock you into anything except more or less say support. What would lock you into anything would be that because Cobham School isn't being held accountable for it, they're just saying, we sign on to this because we're,
Well, I think we agree to support it and
okay,
behind it, but as far as,
the money goes.
the money in 2 days.
So let me ask you this. About how long would it be before you knew if you could do this or not, do you think? Is there an estimate you could give me? I mean, if you're inclined to do so.
Like a year, right?
It depends if you're wanting to use hotel motel money for it, and I don't know if it would be something you could use that for or not, the hoop money.
Yeah, I don't know either, right off the top of my head. That's,
I mean, it does draw into, I'm trying to think of all the checks that would need, but
I mean, I guess I'm gonna say, you know, we'll give you our support, can add our name to the list, I'm assuming. Just speaking for myself. And you're just gonna have to let us look at possible funds. I mean,
Be happy to do that.
and I don't know, I can't tell you that we can do that in 2 days, I can't tell you we can do it in a week. I mean, we've gotta look at several things on that, I mean, I don't know.
The only thing I can see as far as the, like I said, the hoop money, but then again, with using the hotel, this, like she had said, this is for the feasibility part of it. So if this happened and then it didn't go in, you're not really in compliance with your hoop money because
yeah.
it's supposed to bring people here. So I think it'd be a question for our state's attorney, because
Yeah,
I don't feel comfortable making that decision.
yeah, no, I don't either, I mean, it's just a thing you're gonna have to check into.
So if I were to follow up, what should I come back and talk to you guys, or like I'm not gonna call you in 2 days, I promise. But just to find out if you're still interested and if you have determined whether or not you could give us the money at some point,
Well, I think,
how would I follow up?
I think we can reach out to you, and once you get it researched, like I said, it just depends on, I don't know how long that's gonna take. I mean, it could take a week, it could take 2 weeks.
No, I get it, I understand.
But we'll reach out to you, give you some kind of,
Okay, I appreciate
I
it.
mean, is that?
That's fine. I mean, if that's the best I can get today, I'll take it.
Have you talked to Dr. Jacobs?
I have, he's on board. Yes, you're talking Paul Jacobs? Yes, yeah. He sent me some grant information and called me today. I'm also setting up a meeting with Dale Fowler as well. My phone number's in the letter. If you, okay, I appreciate your time.
We'll be in touch, and
All right.
and we'll go from there, but I mean, you can, like I say, I think if everybody's in agreement, can add us as far as support right now.
Okay.
Just not
Appreciate
sure about the financial end of it. so.
All right, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Okay, we don't have anything for executive session. I'm aware of.
I know.
Other business?
No, I just think it's a good idea, Joe.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I do too.
I think it's a great
Be a good
idea.
little economic boost for the area, you know, bed and breakfast, and burger bars.
Yes.
That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Yes, you can't write us a personal check, right?
I have to go talk to my other
the other board.
board members. Keep your name about that.
There's always a catch.
All right, have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Gould?